All right, welcome back to another episode of Through the Roof, a consumer-focused podcast where we talk about all things residential metal roofing and post-frame buildings. I'm your host, Mason Burchett. Here's my co-host, Adam Clark. Adam.
Hey, what's up, Mason?
How's it going, man?
It's going
Good.
excellent.
Outstanding. I gotta find a place to put my phone.
Oh, hey.
You got one of those little, you got one of those little phone holders? Look at that. He gave me a hook up here.
Not only do I know how to bend metal, I also have technology accessories.
Wow, check that out. It is pretty fancy. It actually makes my life a lot better. We got pizza. We got Shannon.
Hey, Shannon.
Hi.
We're here with Shannon Clark, the marketing manager.
No relation.
No relation. Yeah, can we clear up that?
How weird is that?
Let's clear that up right now.
We have 7 employees. 2 of them have the same last name.
We brought Shannon Clark on as our marketing manager, a dominating force in the post-frame industry. And yeah, so instantly people were like, is she related to Adam? Because you're both Clarks. Yeah. But it's also like the most generic last name in the world.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
if your
Odds are it had to happen.
if your last name was Burchett, I would get it.
Yeah.
That's pretty unique. Clark's like,
Whatever.
and they named Superman Clark because it's the most basic name ever.
Sure.
Anyways, we're not talking about that. What we are talking about is a pretty good topic that Shannon has actually brought to our attention. Shannon, what are we discussing today on the podcast?
I want to talk about how universal post frame is and how many different styles of buildings you can actually use post frame for.
Huh. Yeah. You can use them for a lot of
You sure
different
can.
styles.
And we've discovered that every time we talk to somebody who has a unique need, post frame seems to be the solution.
Yeah, so when post frame is like obviously known for being a great option for pole barns, riding arenas, hay storage, all of the typical agricultural needs that you would use a post frame building for. But as you said, there's actually a lot of different unique applications that post frame buildings fit in really well.
Yeah. I know you guys are going to love this one, but the she shed.
Oh, I knew she was going to say she sheds.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
I just come up with that.
No, I stole it from Shannon.
He stole that from me. But, yeah, that and then barndominiums are really, really popular right now. So I don't know if as many people understand that you can use, like, that's basically what they are, is post frame. So.
Yeah, so when we say the word post frame, which we use that terminology on purpose as opposed to just calling it a pole barn, because we want people to understand that these systems are a lot more versatile than just hay storage and barns and agricultural use. They're perfect for that, don't get us wrong. But they're also really versatile systems. And so post frame as a system is really an alternative to traditional stud framing with 2x4s and rafters and all of that. And it allows you to put up a she shed or a barn dominium with a lot less framing materials than you might traditionally have with the stud frame building. And a lot of time this results in reduced cost. It certainly results in reduced labor because there's less materials, there's less labor involved. So, I mean, Adam, we've already dealt with a couple of barn dominiums, a couple of unique applications, and you've really been kind of the more of a customer-facing part of the company so far.
Because I'm not good with technology.
Out there wheeling and dealing. And what kind of applications are you seeing unique applications are you seeing people use post frame for?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the storage units are really popular right now where, you have people who have been renting space for a period of time and they've got a 10 by 10 or a 10 by 20 storage unit. And they're like, man, I'm paying $400 or $500, $600 a month when I could go and I could build something that's much bigger. It can be on my property. I can go there anytime I want. I don't have to worry about other people being around my space and actually have it become an asset, a property asset. So we see a lot of like 30 by 40 storage buildings that are being built, maybe even adjacent to somebody's home. We see a lot of people who are either working from home or who want to work from home, and they're building workshops or home offices apart from their home. Like I have a big family, and it's very chaotic when I'm home. And on the days when I try to work home at my house, like my kids and my wife, they always need me for something, even though I'm supposed to be working. And so I think you see, I think you see more people who maybe have the option to work remotely, but they need to have a little bit of separation from their home where the rest of their normal activities outside of work happen. And so we're seeing even some smaller units, some 10 by, maybe not 10 by 20, 20 by 30 structures where people are having a home office or a garage with a loft where they're able to utilize some space. And people are living in these structures. People are working in these structures. People are doing recreational things in these structures, like outdoor entertainment has become really popular. Like our partner Phil with Flow Roofing has just finished a really great, we call a roof only, like a canopy roof that's over a pad that was basically a back porch section by somebody's home. We've seen a couple of these that have been installed adjacent to a home, but right next to a pool. So there's some relief from the sun when people are out by the pool. So, I mean, the versatility of these products, of the post frame systems, is really so broad. We're working on a batting cage with a local high school right now. It's just going to be a quick, affordable way for them to get a usable space in the dry. And, we talk about the free span of the trusses. There's a lot of advantages with the steel trusses that we use in our post frame. Like this batting cage needs to be 60 feet wide, and being able to achieve that with a traditional stick frame or stud frame system is a little bit harder with the wood trusses, but with the steel trusses, we're able to achieve that with the structural post that we use. We can get taller walls. And that's where you get really a lot of value with the post frame is you're basically building a big box.
Yeah.
And you can do whatever you want on the inside. If you want to build walls for rooms or if you want to leave it wide open, create a vaulted ceiling entryway to a home. I think those are really some of the things that draw people to the post frame systems, and that's why they've become so versatilely used.
And I think aside from just the usage factor, like you were talking about, there's like an aesthetic that is really popular right now. And Shannon, what do you think it is about the aesthetic of post frame buildings that's really attracting people?
They're just clean and you can customize them. Like you get a metal roof and you can customize it however you want. So I think the clean lines is definitely a huge draw. Like for me, that's a huge draw. So I would imagine that's most people.
Yeah, and you can do, obviously a big part of what we do, the vast majority of what we do here is manufacture metal roofing panels, metal siding panels. Mm-hmm. And we've got some strategic partners, and there's metal roofing. Obviously, we've got our traditional metal roofing that's through fastened. We've got standing seam. And for your wall panels, a lot of times people are using the tough panel, which looks great as a wall system. But they're also using a steel board and batten panel, which gives them all of that energy efficiency and durability and longevity you enjoy from traditional metal panels, but it gets you that really cool look of a real board and batten without the hassle of dealing with those materials and the expense of dealing with some of those materials.
Yeah.
So there's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of different choices that you can use and still be like using the same kind of components.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of summarize what I've seen from the customer's side of things. So me going out and speaking with customers, but Mason, you have a totally different perspective because you're doing a lot of the design work through our software.
Sure.
And maybe you can talk about what you're seeing as the trends that are coming up right now and really how the advancements in technology and software have made people feel more comfortable being able to see what the structure will look like before they actually have to take more tangible steps.
Yeah, and this is, to me, one of the biggest advantages of post frame is a lot of people are taking these projects into their own hands. And they've seen a YouTube video about it, they've seen an article about it or something like that, and it's piqued their interest. They come in and talk to us, and then they really see how easy it is to construct one of these buildings. And a lot of people have a construction background or a carpentry background, and they're handy with tools and building things, and this is within their comfort level. And they actually undertake constructing these buildings themselves. And so one of the advantages of the technology we've got the big touch screen where customers come in and we can kind of help them design their building while they're here. And with the touch of a button, they can see what the framing components look like, and we can show them where their posts are supposed to go. We can print that out. We can provide it to them, and really kind of give them a step-by-step process on how to put this building up yourself. And of course, if you're not comfortable doing that, then don't do it. But what I'm seeing a lot from the design side is people really want to get into the details of the design because they're doing it themselves. And when they see how versatile it is, the basic idea of how post frame goes together, which is really, really simple, they think, oh, wow, I could do this with this building, or I could add this on later, or I could put a lean-to over here later if I want to. And so the ease of construction is really attractive to consumers, especially when they're DIY, and also the ease of expansion. One of the beautiful things about post frame is it's so easy to add on later, and you're not deconstructing, a bunch of stuff to try to make an addition. You can easily add a lean-to off of a side. You can easily continue adding trusses to make the building longer if you choose to extend it that way in the future.
That's funny because that's a question that we get pretty often. Like, how long can I make my building? Like,
go around the world, baby.
Yeah, you just add another set of trusses. You keep on going,
land
add 10 feet at a time. And that is really cool where and we often hear people say, who have existing storage or even post frame kits, like, man, I wish I would have made this a little bit bigger. And like post frame, it's really nice. Like, yeah, there's a step, you have to remove a wall, but then you add another post or another set of posts and trusses and keep on going. And you're really able to rely on the simplicity of the system to achieve more space.
Yeah, so when your she shed feels too small, you can just expand it.
Let's make that she shed even bigger. Make it a she warehouse.
Yeah.
But we've said she shed a couple of times, and that's kind of a fun word. But even post frames applicable to like these little craft houses or little she sheds. I mean, what would somebody use something like that for?
Well, if you haven't heard of a she shed before,
I have. I'm asking you.
It's basically an escape for a woman from the rest of life. So it's like similar to a man cave, for a woman. So it's kind of like Adam said, like separating from within office, but it's just like doing that, but for a woman.
What would you put in your she shed?
That's a great question.
I'd probably just get another dog, just stick another dog out there, so that way I don't have the two dogs barking with each other. Just get a secondary dog.
A second dog?
Jealous.
Second dog.
There'd be some jealousy going on with the house dog.
Do you never want to escape from your dog?
No, never.
Huh. Interesting. I'll have to try
What would you put in your she shed or man cave?
My he shed?
He shed.
I would probably put maybe a little Monkey 47 in there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nerd. All you want is Monkey 47.
A Nintendo? I don't know.
Yeah.
What would you put in yours?
A bed.
Oh, just sleep?
Dude, and a big fan. Just like a big bed and a big comforter and a big fan. And just
That's a great idea.
And no one is allowed to come in. And
just a roll-up door and there's just a bed in there.
Yeah.
You guys aren't talking about like a she shed, you're just talking about a room to sleep in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great, actually.
Yeah. Another thing is we're kind of already summarizing the episode here that is really great about post frame is the way that we exclusively use steel trusses. We've chosen to do that for a number of reasons, and we'll do a whole episode on steel trusses one of these days. But it's really easy for people to pick up these materials themselves, especially if they're doing their project in sections. And a lot of people, that are self-funding these things, they do their project in phases, and the way these products are laid out, it makes it really easy for them to come get a bundle of their posts, come back later, get their purlins and wall girts. Most of those are usually always in 10-foot and 12-foot lengths. They can come back later and get their trusses. And the beauty about steel trusses is they come in halves, so you don't have one gigantic long truss like you do with a wood truss. And so they usually fit on somebody's their trailer if they've got one. Of course, we can deliver two. And then all of our metal's cut to length. And so we can make material as people need it and transport it they can easily transport it to their job site. So this is like the DIYer's dream kit. if they're wanting to erect their own building.
Well, we have guides, and we spend a lot of time with homeowners just talking about, okay, here's what the install process looks like. And yeah, if it's a bigger structure, unless you're really comfortable, then, might not hurt to get someone who is more familiar with that type of space. But we see people slinging 24-foot wide trusses, and building outdoor storage or entertainment venue on their property, and like pad, posts, trusses,
roof
panels.
Yeah.
It's super easy. And we talk about like, why is it seen this as like such a versatile product? Because it's ease of installation, ease of comprehension of the products make it really nice, where people think, I have this idea, how do I solve the questions or the problems of this idea? And Post Frame really does solve a lot of those things. Like, you want something that is sold as a kit, you want something that's easy to assemble, you want something that's affordable and cost effective and doesn't require a million people to get it done. And like, that's what Post Frame achieves for you.
So if you don't know where to start on your post frame journey, call us, True Metal Supply. You go to truemetalsupply.com. We've actually got an online designer where you can design your own building. We were talking about the big screen where we design it. That same software is available on our website. You can do it yourself right now from the comfort of your own home.
For free.
For free. Go to truemetalsupply.com. It's right there on the front page. Click it and play around with that design and hit the submit for quote button. When you're done with it, it'll come straight to us, and we'll send you a quote on what those materials would cost, and you can get your own she shed or a he shed with a bed in it.
Yeah, love that.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Through the Roof. If you enjoyed what you're listening to, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for us. Helps a lot. And until next time. We need like an outgoing phrase. Until next time.
That's what she said.
That's actually pretty good.
Okay, that's pretty good.